Hey folks, Devin Pennypecker here for the Windup Watch Shop, and today we're going to be taking a look at a pair of models actually, both from the brand Paulin. Now both have the Modul model name in there, and they both have the designation of B, but from there the differences really start to set in. Here we have the Modul B with its automatic movement and brown dial, cased in a larger case size, and then over here we have the Modul B Manual with its small seconds register and smaller case diameter. We're going to be taking a look at both of them, so we're going to do a bit of a comparison, though really they are two very different models and we're going to go through their differences despite their similar appearances. At the very end we'll wrap it up and go over a couple pros, a couple cons, and I'll give you some of my personal thoughts on these two pieces here. But before I do just want to mention that on this channel we cover products that we carry here inside of the Windup Watch Shop or on windupwatchshop.com. There we have a selection of backpacks, EDC items, accessories, clocks, and of course watches curated by enthusiasts for enthusiasts just like you. There, every purchase helps us continue what we love doing, but if you're in the Brooklyn area, stop into the Brooklyn showroom, come say hi to us. We're actually working just on the other side of this wall. If you're not, check us out online or come to one of the Windup Watch fairs where we're always there excited to meet all of you. But with all of that out of the way, let's get back to the video. So we have the two watches here in front of us, and I'm going to be taking a look at them one by one. So if you only care about one of these models, go ahead and use the timestamps below to skip to that section. But otherwise, we're going to go ahead and jump into the first model here, the Modul B Automatic, simply because that's the one that fits my wrist just a little bit better. And hey, you're watching my video, so welcome to my bias. Measuring in with a case diameter of 39 millimeters, the Automatic comes in as the largest addition to the Paulin collection, with a lug-to-lug just under 45 millimeters and a thickness of around 10 millimeters. It's pretty compact and can easily slide under the cuff, which suits the style of this watch, which is more of that dress to everyday functionality. Now that being said, the construction of this watch is very flat and it does sit flat against your wrist rather than curving down towards it, meaning that it does wear a little bit larger than you might expect. At 3, the push-pull crown operates time setting with well-cut grooves for easy grip and the Paulin P logo embossed on the top. On this model here, I currently have it on the 20mm Paulin steel mesh bracelet, though there are a ton of different strap options that you can choose from their store or ours. I think it adds a little bit of flair to this model and really is a comfortable overall package, as that mesh does drape around your wrist and hold it nice and tight. Unfortunately though, there is no tapering leading to that clasp, which does again lean into the larger side of wearing dimensions. Now the case on these models are actually pretty interesting, being of a modular construction, which is actually where they get that Modul name from. The central case here can be entirely removed by unscrewing these Torx bits on the case side and then pulling the lug surrounds completely off. This allows for Paulin to use different movements and configurations without having to completely recraft the case from the ground up. On its front-facing surface, the case features radial brushing, except for a growing polished facet that is widest at the lug's tip. That brushing then extends to the blackened inner case surrounding the domed Hezolite crystal. With Paulin models, you actually have the choice of going for Hezolite or Sapphire, so choose the one that works for you. Now some may scoff at the omission of Sapphire here for the price point, though I personally like the Hezolite option because it brings a little bit of warmth to the look and feel of this watch, giving it an almost vintage charm, going along with that more stylistic approach. Set just beneath the crystal is the brass dial, treated with a brown lacquer on top. Rich and creamy in tone, it adds a level of warmth to this watch set against the cold steel surrounds. Yellow printed markers hold the hours, with 2-digit Arabic numerals handling the even hours and geometric shapes landing on the odd. Set just inside is a white printed minute track, kept minimal by only marking every 5 minutes rather than all of the ones in between, with oblong shapes. Now I was actually trying to Google the name of the shape only to find a weird online fight about what they're called. I choose to love the squircle option, but please let me know down in the comment section what you would call this shape, as we see it on a lot of watch designs out there. At the center, a unique set of hands handles time telling, with a stacked rectangular hand for hours, a rounded and skeletonized minutes hand, and a brightly painted blue seconds hand ticking just on top. Now by far my absolute favorite feature of this watch comes when that minute hand perfectly lines up over top of the minute mark, and that skeletonized portion makes way for that white marker underneath to shine through. It's just a nice bit of geometry and design that you don't see on other options out there. The dial text is kept to an absolute minimum, with only Paulin at 7 and their hometown of Glasgow printed at 5. Overall legibility on this piece is great thanks to its vibrant contrasting colors, though the watch is void of any lume application, making it very difficult to read in low light conditions. That being said, I'm glad that there's no lume on this watch because honestly, I think any lume application might have ruined the balance of this watch and really its intended purpose. Now flipping the watch over does reveal the display caseback housing the automatic Le Jeu Perret G101 movement. A 4 Hz movement, the G101 offers hacking and hand winding, and a nice power reserve of 68 hours, a large upgrade over its ETA and Solita counterparts which sit roughly around 40 to 42 hours. Personally, I'm really glad to see this upgraded movement at the price point and hope that it's a trend that continues for years to come. Now let's shift our attention over to the Modul B Manual, where we have a relatively similar package with some key differences that we're going to call out. Here, the watch measures in with a slim diameter of 35 millimeters, paired with a thickness just under 8.5 millimeters and a lug-to-lug of 40 millimeters. Overall, that is a very small measurement for most people out there, but like I mentioned with the other model, it does wear pretty flat on the wrist, meaning that it's going to wear a little bit larger than you might expect, probably closer to that 36 or 37 millimeter feel that most people are looking for. On this model in particular, we do have a really nice 18 millimeter charcoal brown suede strap with quick release spring bars on its underside that terminates at a two-tone steel pin buckle. Again, the wearing experience here is really nice and very comfortable right out of the box, making it a great piece for everyday or dress use. Case finishing here is also fully radial brushed, minus that polished facet that broadens towards the tip of the lugs. At 3, the well-sized though proportioned push-pull crown operates time setting and manual winding for the movement inside. Holding guard over top is a boxed sapphire crystal that does a decent job at cutting down on glare and reflection, offering virtually no visual distortion, and even somewhat disappears at certain angles. Beneath, the warm brown lacquer dial holds contrasting details on its semi-gloss surface. At the perimeter, printed yellow markers handle hours, while the 5-minute interval white minute track runs just within. That is, of course, except towards the bottom of the dial, where its surface slopes down into the small sub-second subdial. There, a white second track encompasses a small yet vibrant blue baton seconds hand ticking away. At its center, polished, unique baton-like hands handle time telling, with a squared hand marking the hours and that skeletonized rounded baton marking the minutes. Turning the watch over, you are treated to a view of the manually wound Swiss-made ETA caliber 7001. Operating at 3 Hz, it offers hacking and of course hand winding because it is a manual movement, while holding a power reserve of right around 42 hours, which is adequate, though being a manually wound caliber might leave some wanting a little bit more. Despite being more industrially finished, it is still a nice movement to look at as you slowly wind the watch up for your day. And that really covers these two watches, very similar in appearance at first, but really two very different pieces as you start to break them down. Now, like I mentioned earlier, they do have a fairly flat construction, leading them to wear a little bit bigger than you might expect. So when you're looking at those dimensions on the spec sheet, make sure that you're getting the one that's going to suit your needs a little bit better. And sure, you can find a reason to complain about the Automatic's use of Hesselite over Sapphire, but where's your sense of romance? These pieces are meant to be design focused and design forward, and really at that point, you should look for something that's a little bit unique. And if you boil it down, these are two very well-priced offerings, giving you visual design far different from anything else on the market. For me, I'll take the Automatic with its Hesselite crystal and enjoy the warmth that it creates in combination with that chocolate dial. But really, that's going to do it for this video here, taking a look at these two models. I'm going to wear this one out. I've been wearing it with a corduroy jacket lately. It's been a lot of fun. Makes me feel like a school teacher, which is awesome. But let me know down in the comment section what you think. Do you like the design language here? Does it speak to you? Or is it just a little bit too funky for you? While you're down there, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help us out. But anyway, I know your time is valuable, so I do appreciate you spending some of it with me. And until the next one, peace.